have the same values everywhere once the initial values of creation are set, yet locally they may be compacted and arrayed in different forms. Many biblical fundamentalists prefer a simple criteria for the time of the universe and its construction, while evolutionists prefer more complexity. In a way, though, the evolutionist-creationist debate itself seems somewhat parochial to us regarding the entire universe and the creation of an entire universe and possible universes, wherein time is entirely contingent, subject to the atemporal, pre-universal field of the unknown, and possible universes become finite points along an infinite, in all directions and dimensions, continuous spectrum within relativistic paradigm. God has many mansions and infinite capacity to create universes and experience, though he may set the values of a particular universe as constants for a particular universe. Christians know that God has laws and criteria for the universe that make everyone accountable to his judgment and will. Christians, not those without faith, are not exempt from the laws of gravity, the laws of nature, the moral laws, or the requirements to act responsibly for the conservation of the world's resources. Christians are not free to pursue riotous liberal quantitative resource consumption and trust that God will pick up the environmental tab. Christians should know that the biblical prophets were ordinary people selected to experience ideas from God. They were not rocket scientists, did not put on the Star Trek high-tech helmet of advanced future knowledge, learning and wrote down what they should do to serve God's will for mankind in the evolution of history. Those prophets acted for their own time and for the future. It is unimaginable that Daniel could have foreseen the knowledge of mankind today, nor the context in which his prophecies might be interpreted. Jeremiah and John the Baptist experienced the words of God, yet few prophets, or perhaps none, wrote much about the technical nature of cosmology or the elements of the periodic table technically. And why should they? Did God prefer to have all of human experience fully assembled in a completed state early on as if it were a manufactured robot? On the nature of cosmology today, mathematical development has allowed a hypothetical digital analog quantification of the content of the visible universe with computers and of the not entirely chaotic evolution of physical particle waves, though its material phases from time equaled nearly zero to the present or perhaps in the future until time omega. The entire material structure of massive universes, however, superimposed upon a realm of quantum uncertainty that is an ineffable mystery. From the realm of quantum uncertainty, it is believed emerged particle waves that build up sufficiently to let mass exist within space. The representation of the mass energy of this universe through human thought is an epistemological relationship of the uncertain nature of mind to the mass energy of the universe, and of the universe for itself along with its uncertainty foundation. The universe and its mass energy are given a template of mathematical abstraction, and the relations of the elements of that universe set are made to be consistent universally. Any universal representation, though, fades out of the edges of knowledge and certainty necessarily for the largest and smallest, making universal and meta-universal cosmologies sorts of contingent phenomenalities that have validity locally and relatively, yet necessarily not transcendently, as that would inevitably be a violation of scientific rules of order regarding certainty and probability. Much of the debate between finite and evolution, phenomenalists and Christian fundamentalists, seem philosophically anachronistic. It is easy to have faith in God while discarding faith in politicians. It is simple to recognize that a bad environment, a poor standard of living, the desire to concentrate wealth or power, the unwillingness to work for the benefit of society are fundamental values of corruption, reinforced by disinterpreters of democracy and free enterprise and preference for Chicago mobster-style rule. Faith in God does not require corrupt ecospheric destruction, ecospherically deleterious fossil fuel automobile use, or the destruction of the world biosphere, nor does economic health or the future of life on Earth better its prospects through the perversion of moral values. Mankind cannot improve its world situation by destroying moral reason or destroying ecospheric and social prosperity behind the excuse of theological dispensation. The inability to make the world a better place right away is the result of political stupidity, the square peg and round hole syndrome. Political dogmatism is a lot cheaper for a square peg round hole political thought than creative inventive intelligence. The United States has a stagnant transportation and housing infrastructure mal-designed for environmental conservation or affordability, and a number of other issues not too difficult to solve with better politicians and more faith in God and mankind's ability to adapt to a challenging planetary environment.